Armagh was the venue, and Armagh hoped for its first ever Camogie President in Kathleen Woods. But they were disappointed as delegates from near and far voted in favour of Catherine Neary.
The result of the vote was Kathleen Woods 55 votes and Catherine Neary 56. So your new Uachtaráin Tufa is Catherine Neary from Kilkenny.
That was very, very close. One vote between myself and Kathleen. We had a fantastic campaign. We both ran a very good campaign, and I suppose the result just verifies that. That just how close it was. So
you knew it was going to be that close, did you?
I did, yeah. I knew. I didn't know it was going to be one vote, but I knew it was going to be quite close. And I suppose it turned out that way. And I was fortunate that on this occasion I came out on the right side of it.
And what do you think maybe got it for you? You were obviously up against it here because Kathleen was her own backyard. That was one thing. But I mean, what did you campaign on as such?
I suppose I've been involved, no more than Kathleen, I've been involved for a long number of years, both as a player, as management selector, trainer with teams. I've been chair of my own club, my own county, my province. So I suppose I had a certain level of exposure that people would have known my name. But the couple of things that I suppose that were really important to me were the integration side of things, and that we needed to be part of that whole process, and very much that we need to be, to drive that our own process, but be clear on what we want and what our goals are, and that there's good in this for everybody. The other issue, I suppose, was that I'm very much a strong believer in the club, and that we need to make sure that we have strong foundations, and the club obviously is that where it starts from, and that will then give us links to schools, to all, inter-county, everything comes really, either goes from the club or comes back to the club eventually. It's like the circle of life. So they were some of the big issues, and then obviously the marketing side of it. But it's such an exciting time. I'm really lucky in some senses that I'm coming in as the Uachtaráin Tufa and president then next year, at a time when there's so much going on in Camogie, and it's at a very vibrant time for Camogie. So it's just I'm really lucky from that perspective that it's a fantastic time, and hopefully I can and deliver on that expectation that people have that in me and those that vote for me. But I'm here to represent everybody, and as I said earlier today, it's both on and off this island that I'm here to represent everybody.
So you must be delighted then that the One Association model was passed unanimously today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just shows you how far we've come as an association. All the associations, how far we've come. I think if you had said, 15, 20 years ago, when this was being raised and mooted, I think that you would have had some negative voices in the room today. But today there was nothing like that. Everybody can see that there are benefits. But again, it's about just that we're because we're confident. I think as an organisation, we're confident in what we have. We're confident in our marketing. We're confident in our product, and we know that we have a game that is a game that any girl is going to want to play and get involved in.
You mentioned your club. So James Stephens, let's go there. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your background there and indeed your family.
Well, I suppose it's the club, it's my family club. I actually originally played Camogie with St Paul's in Kilkenny, and then when St Paul's finished, because we had no underage structure in St Paul's, James Stephens had just restarted again and been refounded again. It's the club where my brothers hurled. My brother Paddy hurled with Kilkenny, won Club All Irelands with James Stephens. It's the club that my father was registrar for a long number of years. My ex-brother Paddy is actually vice chair there now. My sister is the secretary of the club, of the Camogie club, and then my nieces Aoife and Orla both play with the club, and Aoife plays senior Camogie with Kilkenny for the last number of years. So I suppose I can't escape that club. It's the red and green is stamped inside me, and it's very important to me. But I think the club should be any of the codes that you talk about across the whole GAA family. I think the club is the base stone, and I think that's where we all learn about Camogie. It gives us values. It actually in some ways makes us what we are. So the club is my club, and James Stephens is definitely my club.
And you're the second ever president in Camogie from Kilkenny.
That's right, yeah. Mary Fennelly was the first president from Kilkenny, so I'm following in very illustrious footsteps. Mary was president from 82 to 85. She was younger than I am. I think Mary was only about 32 then, so she was a very young president, but she was a very vibrant president, and in some ways it's Mary is the one that actually introduced me to the whole thing, because she was the person that actually pushed me to go originally for chair of Kilkenny. So I suppose you can either applaud her or we can blame her or whatever, for the fact that I'm actually here today. So I owe a lot to Mary as well, but also to the people in Kilkenny who've supported me, the counties who've supported me, and my own provincial council, Leinster, as well.